going on, guys? I'm back with another video, and in honor of Valentine's Day, which was a little more than a week ago, I wanted to do a vid about dating. Now, I know dating can be a relatively hot topic these days with a lot of young adults being single, and I pulled these statistics from the Pew Research Center, but in ages 18 to 29, 63% of young men say they are single, and 34% of young women say they are single, and that is compared to 25 and 17% in the 30 to 49 age category. So let's talk about this today, and I can kind of give you guys some of my own opinions and experiences dating in the big 2025. Now, as these stats seem to suggest, it seems like younger people, specifically younger men, have a tough time dating. Looks like there's a lot of single people as compared to those in a happy relationship or classifying themselves as not single, which gets a little insane these days. But, I think these have to do for a lot of reasons, such as people are working a lot, people don't want to try anymore, people are disgruntled with the dating scene, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And also just people have felt rejected or kind of cast aside, or maybe feel like they don't have a place in the dating scene. I think this is also pointing to the fact that dating is definitely harder than people older than us or our parents' age or previous generations, which are historically less single and seem to have a better time finding love or finding a relationship that made them satisfied. Now, I could talk about my own situation with dating, and I am indeed currently single. I have dated before, but I've been single for about a year, again, which really isn't that long. And I dated one girl pretty seriously in high school and pretty seriously in college. The relationships, unfortunately, did not last longer than a year, and I'm not one of these people that's going to say, oh, screw my ex, they're a horrible person and what they did to me is wrong. No. In fact, I broke up with both of them, which kind of makes me seem like a jerk. But I just believe these relationships were probably not for me long term, and I believed staying in them was not going to make me happy or not make me satisfied, which really sucks. I got into them kind of expecting something great and kind of got pushed away from the girls for one reason or another. One being distance. I don't really like long distance relationships, and these girls were going to be living in other states and going to be going to school further away from where I'm at currently, and I just don't really like that. Call me clingy or whatever, but I want to spend time with my partner, and I don't really want to be doing that long distance kind of thing, as well as just differences between attitudes or personalities or just family, things like that. I kind of found after a while, like, I don't know if this is the kind of person that I ideally want to be spending the rest or a majority of my life with. And I know if I stay, I'm only going to be unhappy, and it's going to rub off on the relationship and make everybody unhappy. So I just didn't want to put myself through that. You can call me a jerk, you can call me picky, you can call me whatever, but I just decided at the moment being single is probably the best move for myself, as I'm a little early into my career, as well as I'm just kind of trying to figure out what works for me, what I like, what I don't like, and not trying to get stuck in any situation that is undesirable. But unfortunately, because of this, I'm going to have to actually get out there again and try to date at some point. I'm not sure when, but I would like to be in a committed relationship. I feel like this is a goal for myself, as my parents are still together. Really, all of my extended family, which is rather large, as my parents are both one of 5 children, they're all married happily. No one is divorced. Everybody seems to be in a pretty secure and stable relationship, and being raised in an environment like that kind of made me want the same thing. And I just know I would like to have a long-term relationship with a partner where I could be secure and trusting and happy. And maybe it won't be perfect all the time, but it would be good to have that. A lot of my friends have that as well, so I know I definitely crave what is in the environment around me. On top of that, I also just enjoy my free time and spending time with other people as well, which you definitely get a lot more of if you're single. However, because I want that secure relationship, it means I have to go through trying to date again, which is a bit of a excruciating process these days. Now, I don't know what's worse, trying to find a full-time job or trying to find a girlfriend, because both seem extremely difficult this day and age, and people seem to have very high standards in both situations. And I will go out occasionally and try to do things to try to meet people, and sometimes I'll meet girls through one reason or another, and we'll have an insightful conversation, or things seem to be going pretty well, or maybe they'll seem nice or friendly or whatever, and I'll try to take it further than that, and I'll be met with, "Oh, I'm not really interested in you," for one reason or another. "Oh, well, I'm already taken." And sometimes it's an even more vile response than that, and it's a "ew, get away from me" type of situation. And I feel like a lot of girls, not all of them of course, just seem to have very high and prioritized standards as compared to men, which will pretty much take what they can get at this point. And I know some people like that, they'll literally date or sleep with anyone, which I don't necessarily want to be like. I have standards myself, both physically and personality wise, and just how people are internally, and I don't really want to go against them. Like, yes, there are some standards I have that are not exactly a deal breaker, but at the same time, like, I just want to make sure the girl is a good person and is from a secure place and was mentally stable and things like that. So yes, I've been rejected many a time. I've been ghosted, every kind of rejection scenario you could think of, but I feel like the number one reason why I am rejected is because of my physical appearance. Now, I'm not necessarily calling myself ugly. I think I look relatively good, and I've been told I look handsome, from my family, I suppose. But either way, I do kind of have a flaw in my physicality, and that is I'm rather short. I am 5'5" as a man. And that, is essentially a death sentence when it comes to dating. I feel like I am dating on hard mode, because a lot of girls, point blank blunt, you can be as nice of a guy as possible, you can have money, you can have this, you can have that. They will not date you purely because, well, you're short. You're coming up short. And a lot of people see height as kind of this dominance factor in a relationship. A lot of girls are like, "Oh, I want a tall man or a man who is XYZ." And it's just shallow. I really hate it. I really hate that I'm getting shut down and denied and invalidated because of something I had zero control over. That's like denying somebody based off their race. I just think it's stupid, But that's unfortunately the situation I'm in, and I know not all girls care about height, and yes, I've dated girls before who just did not care, either were slightly taller than me or around my height, or maybe slightly shorter. But really, I know there's people out there that won't care. It's just finding them can be tough in the sea of girls that are rather judgmental and just shallow on a surface level when it comes to that stuff. Now, I know it's not an end-all be-all, like I said, and I know people that are short that will try to lie or exaggerate it by wearing platform shoes or whatever, or just lie about it flat out. And I actually like keeping it truthful, because I kind of figure if a girl can't get past my height, that's like the door, you know what I mean? Like, that is the door to dating me. If you cannot get past it, then don't even bother trying. Because if you can't handle me for the way I am and things that I have no control over, then I don't even want to begin dating you in the first place. I think that says a lot about your personality and your ego and just how you treat other people, and that's not what I want. So yeah, I'm a very genuine guy, and I like to be blunt about just about everything, honestly, and I don't really like to sugarcoat things. And yeah, that's just one of those things I cannot change, but I know it's not the end all be all. I mean, I am rather muscular. I decided to actually change something about myself that I could, as I used to be rather skinny and out of shape, but decided to really start taking working out seriously. And now I lift weights and think I do a pretty good job with it, and I'm doing cardio and just trying to stay in shape. And my friends and family have told me, like, yeah, you look good, you look muscular. Like, it's just my height that's the problem, and I recognize it's not everything, but I just have to deal with it for what it is, and there's nothing I can do. Now that I've explained that, you're probably understanding a lot of why I don't really like this process, as it seems like a big comparison game, and I often get compared to people that are more physically desirable than me, and I really hate that that's how dating has become. And because I work a 9 to 5 job and I'm very busy with it, and I'm commuting 100 miles total a day, I really don't have much time to go out or do any clubs or anything like that. I would certainly like to, as I quite prefer meeting women in the wild as opposed to dating apps, which I have very, very mixed and pretty awful opinions on, just because they're a huge comparison game. It doesn't feel genuine at all. There's a lot of people on there that are just not really looking for the same thing as me, or are being extremely harsh or extremely judgmental, and treating something as important as love and happiness and partnership as, oh, I'm gonna make a game out of this, and I'm just gonna be as rude as possible on here and whatever. I understand there are people on there using it for legitimate purposes as well, which is why I'm trying to get on them, and really I'm just trying to put myself back out there and meet girls, and it's easily the easiest way to do it. You don't even have to leave your house. But there is just so much shit on there that I hate dealing with. The comparison game, people on there looking for hookups, which I don't really do. I don't think there is anything satisfying about just seeing a girl for a sexual advance, and that's really about it. Like, there's nothing deeper than that. And I've even had friends that have done that sort of thing and just said, well, it might feel nice in the moment, but really they're not satisfying long term, and you will eventually get sick of it and just feel unfulfilled, which I don't want. There's a lot of girls looking for that, or a lot of girls being like, oh, well, I'm in a situationship, which really confuses me. I don't exactly know what a situationship it is. Well, actually, I do know what it is. It's basically when a girl or a guy can't fully commit to the relationship, but they like the sexual aspects of it, or there's some other aspect of it, so they don't officially call it a relationship because they don't want to be judged by others for being seen with that other person, so they call it a situationship, which is just BS. It's basically just a relationship or a hookup without the strings attached, and I honestly hate that crap. I'm looking for a committed relationship, not any of that. On top of that, it just seems like girls have a lot of options on these sites, as they're the ones being sought after most of the time, and most of the time it's not really guys being sought after, and they're just kind of on the app to give the girls attention, including me. And I already know any girl that I could be speaking to on a dating app could have a pool of God knows how many other guys, and it's kind of sad. And they could compare them all, just physically speaking, or on a piece of paper, on a screen, as opposed to seeing them in person and getting a more real feel for their personality or how they are. And I don't really like that. As well as, if you want any real results on these apps, or you want all the good features, you need to pay for premium services, which is stupid, and I'm not doing that. I hate to say this, but unfortunately, any girls that I seem to match with or get some interest from are either not what I'm looking for, or I don't find them attractive, or they're, I try to start a conversation with them and then it just goes nowhere, or ghosting happens, which sucks. So I don't really like I don't really like dating apps, and I don't really like short-term relationships, which I feel like are very promoted on them. So I try to get on them to meet people, but I really want to stay away from them if possible and just meet girls in person. At the same time, I don't really like going out to places like clubs or bars or anywhere where alcohol or drug use is promoted to meet women, as I feel like you will kind of attract some that maybe do not have good morals, or are loose, or just aren't really what you're looking for. And I know this isn't all people going out to these places, as some are just going out to be social or whatever, but I don't even really like that scene all that much to begin with. I go with my friends on occasion just to have a good time, but really, I'm not looking for love there. That's not the place to do it. I'd rather look for love in a place, like a club or a group where I have joint interest in something with someone else, and we can kind of start the conversation from there. As well as, I don't know, maybe going to church or something like that. I go to church with my family every so often, and I think a girl going to a place like that definitely has better morals than somebody who is going out to a place where things could go wrong, or you could set yourself up for disaster if you don't behave accordingly. And meeting people in the wild, and meeting people maybe through mutual friends, it's just so much better than these dating apps, as you can see how they are as a complete package, both physically as well as emotionally, mentally, and just personality wise, and all of that stuff you can't see through the screen. You get a much clearer picture of it in person, which I love. And I feel like most of the time when I catch feelings for a girl, it is because I have met them in person. So that's a bit of my opinion on dating in the current day and age. And yes, although I have spoke to why it is hard, what I will not do is say it's absolutely impossible and people should give on it up on it forever, because I know today on YouTube and on these other content platforms that is far too normalized and very just a polarizing thing, with both groups of men and women ragging on each other for the sake of content promotion, as well as just trying to tear each other apart for being whatever respective gender they are, which is absolutely stupid. I know it's easy to get consumed by that like red pill, black pill type content where people tell you, completely disregard women, or, treat them like a jerk because they're a woman, or feminism content, like very extreme feminism content where women say all men are trash and have nothing to offer the world, when I think both of these viewpoints are extremely dangerous and extremely wrong. Because in this world today, we need to have good relationships with people of both genders and regard each other as equals and just treat each other with respect, because at the end of the day, you are going to meet people of both genders and you're going to have to get along with them whether you like them or not. And I understand some things the opposite gender can do can be repulsive or can be rude or other undesirable characteristics, but you just need to move past that and not get the estranged view that all of them behave like that, because that is very dangerous, and I believe it will only make us more divided than we already are. So yes, I will not stop looking for a long-term romantic partner, as I believe this will help my happiness and lead to good things for my future, as well as push my boundaries with who I can become as a man. But until then, I'm going to enjoy my time being single, treat it as a blessing instead of a curse, not get down about it too much. And I implore all young men in the same situation. It seems like there's a lot of us these days, but don't get too down because of what women think about you. I'm sure you could be a wonderful human being, and maybe you just have bad luck, or need to work on yourself a little bit more. So really don't take it to heart too much. I used to, and I'm starting to get over that phase of my life and remind myself every day that I'm an awesome person and I'm really working on becoming the man I want to be. And I implore you all to do the same thing.